Good afternoon, everyone. So, welcome to Career Launcher. My name is Naveen, and today we'll continue with the series CAT 2025 Target 99 plus percentile. I hope you guys have enrolled with our test series and you have written our first two mocks. Well, if you haven't, let's start your journey as soon as possible. So, today we'll be looking at LRDI Basics Part 12. So, this is going to be the 12th set of this series. So, this is a set that has appeared in CAT earlier, and it's a very good set. It's a great combination of how to relate, correlate, and disjoint the values. Okay, so let's read and understand what this is about. So we have got A, B, C, D, E, F, and G are 7 people in a town. Any pair of them could either be strangers, acquaintances, or friends. All relationships are mutual. Strangers means two people that do not know each other. Acquaintances means two people know each other by names, but they do not hang out so often. And while friends are, you know who friends are. When it says all relationships are mutual, it means if I'm a friend of yours, you are a friend of mine. So, for example, if your mother is a friend of B, then B is also a friend of A. Similarly, if A is a stranger to B, then B is also a stranger to A. So, with example, it is mentioned here. Partial information about the number of friends, acquaintances, and strangers of each of these people among them is given in the table below. So there are basically a total of 7 people. So if I talk about 7 people, including me, myself, I can see 6 people in front of me. And when I see 6 people in front of me, then every person is going to be either a stranger or an acquaintance or a friend. So that means the sum of number of friends plus number of acquaintances plus number of strangers should result in always 6. So this is the first key thing. Another, suppose I get to know that A and B are friends. So this one friend of A, if I consider that to be B, then B will also have a friend which is definitely A. There may be more people, but A will be there. So basically, whenever we're going to write down the name of the person who is a friend or an acquaintance or a stranger along a particular person's name, then vice versa, the other person should have that person's name in front of it. Okay. The following additional facts are also known. A, B, and C are mutual strangers. A, D, and F are E's friends. C and G are friends. Every friend of A is acquaintances of B, and so on and so forth. Let's look at the types of questions asked. So how many friends does E have? Theta. So that means we should get a definite number. Who's an acquaintance of Amuda? So 4 options with no cannot be determined, or none of these means we should be able to solve it. Which of these pairs share the same type of relationship? So this will also be definite. Who's in acquaintances of C? Similar to question number 2, definite. 5th is the theta question, again definite. So without wasting any time, let's look at how can we proceed and solve this particular set. We have the same data, and we will keep in mind the 2 rules that we saw, the 2 approaches, the 2 kind of hints that are required to complete the table. So if you look at A has got a total number of 6 people, so that's fine. If you look at G has a total of 6 people. F, so far only 1. E has 1, D has 2, C has 1, while B has none. Let's start with the first statement. A, B, and C are mutual strangers. That means A is a stranger to B and C, and B is a stranger to A and C, while C is a stranger to A and B. So A is a stranger to B and C. B is a stranger to A and C, and C is a stranger to A and B. Let's not close the bracket because we do not know how many strangers they have. So A has got 4 strangers, out of which 2 are B and C, that is known. Second statement, A, D, and F are E's friends. So E has got certain number of friends where A, D, and F, they definitely exist. There may be more people, so at least 3 exist here. Similarly, A is going to have a friend who is going to be E. This part is done. So we're done with A's friends. Similarly, D is going to have a friend who is going to be E. So at least one friend D has. And F has one friend who is going to be A. Now, this is also complete. C and G are friends. So if C and G are friends, that means G is a friend to C, and that means G is a friend to C, and C is a friend to G. So we are also done with friends of Gotham. Next, every friend of A is an acquaintances of B. So the friend of A is E, so that person is going to be an acquaintance of E. And every acquaintance of B is a friend of A. That means if A has one friend, B has got one acquaintance. Because if B has more than one acquaintance, then the second part of point number 5 will not hold true. That every acquaintance of B is a friend of A. So if B has two acquaintances, how come A has only one friend, right? So that means B has one acquaintance. So done with fourth statement. Every friend of B is an acquaintance of A, and every acquaintance of A is a friend of B. So that means if A has one acquaintance, B will have one friend. That means the total number of people that B should be related to is going to be 6, wherein number of strangers will turn out to be 4. Now we need to figure out who that acquaintance of A and B are. So let's look at A's row. A cannot be friend or acquaintance or stranger to himself. So that's ruled out. A is a friend of E. So E is done. A is a stranger to B and C. That is done. The thing is, if I write acquaintance here, D, that is all good. If I, instead of D, if I try to write E, that will be a mismatch because E cannot be a friend as well as an acquaintance. Next, if I write F, this is also going to be perfectly fine. No problem with this. If we write G, that will also not be a problem. So we can have D, F, and G. 3 of these can be an acquaintance, but we would like to see only one person's name over here. Now let's start with the case where we definitely know, which people or who will go where. So since we know that E and B are acquaintances, so that means E will have an acquaintance of B, right? Also, we know that A and E are friends. So E and A, they are supposed to be friends. So right now, if we look at E, we have 3, 4, 5 people. There's going to be one more person. Now that person is going to be A, B, C. It could be C, or it could be G. Either of those two, it's possible. Okay. Let's put it one by one. So A has, let's say, an acquaintance D. That means B has one friend D. If B has a friend D, so D is going to have a friend B. Very much possible. Instead of D, the next letter or the next person that I can put is going to be, we can't put C or we can't put B. So A, B, C, D is same, E is there, F. Let's put in F. If this is F, this is going to be F. Now, if B is friends with F, that means F should be friends with B, which he is not. So we cannot write F over here. Next, let's put G. If I put G here, G will come here as well. That means B is friends with G, so G should be friends with B, but he is not. G is friends with C. So between all the possible letters, only D can take the place. So A is an acquaintance of D and D is a friend of B. Now, since B and D are friends, so D is going to have one more friend B. Since A and D are acquaintances, so D and A are going to be acquaintances. Now we can fill the row of A and B. So we see B, C, D, E, F, and G will be here. Similarly, if we look at the row, A, B is already himself, C, D, E, F, and G, these are the 2 letters. That would also mean that since F and A are strangers, so F and A are going to be strangers. Similarly, if B and F are strangers, F and B are going to be strangers. Similarly, if you look at G, A and G are strangers, B and G are strangers. So beside G also, we should have A and B. So this part is complete. Now, if you look at Gautam's row, everybody's name is now known because Gautam is himself. We do see A, B, C. We will have now D, E, and F. These are the three people. Since G and D are acquaintances, that means D and G are going to be acquaintances. Since G and E are acquaintances, that means E and G will be acquaintances. Since G and F are acquaintances, that means F and G are going to be acquaintances. Now, if we look at the row E, we see that we have 3 plus 2 plus 1. We have 6 people here, so we can close this out. And we can be sure that there are 2 acquaintances of E and 3 friends. So the leftover person for the row E, we have A, B, C is missing. So C comes in here. Now, since E and C are strangers, that means C and E are strangers. Now, if you look at Dinesh, we have got 2 people as friends, 2 people as acquaintances, and 2 people as strangers. That's 6 overall. So we can close the brackets for Dinesh for friends and acquaintances. So this is going to be 2, this is going to be 2. Now, who are these 2 strangers to D? We can see A, B, C is missing. D is himself. E, F is supposed to be here. So that means D and C are strangers. That means C and D are strangers. So if you look at C, we already have 4 strangers. 5th is acquaintance and 6th is this friend. So we can close these out. That would mean this is going to be 4 and this is going to be 1. Also, since we have written that Dinesh, C and D are strangers, we also see that D and F are strangers. That means beside F, we are supposed to write D. So F is strangers with A, B, and D. Now, the leftover person who is an acquaintance, we can see A, B, C himself, D, E, F is missing. So we'll put F over here. Since C and F are acquaintances, beside F, we can put C over here. Now, if we count the number of people in F's row, we see 1 plus 2, 3 plus 3, 6. So we can close this out. And that would mean F has 2 acquaintances and 3 strangers. So this is more like match the following. But if we start drawing lines between people, it's going to be difficult because there are going to be so many lines and we do not have different colors in the exam time to denote friends with a unique color and acquaintances with another color. Right? So solving this using a table format like this is the best approach. Now, let's look at the questions. How many friends does E have? So we can see that E has got 3 friends. Who is an acquaintance of A? A's acquaintance is D. So D as in Dinesh. Which of these pairs share the same type of relationship? B and C, D and E. So B and C are strangers. D and E are not strangers. So not the first option. Second option, C, E, D, G. C and E are strangers. D and G are not strangers. So not the second option. Next, A, G, E, F. A and G are strangers. F and E are not strangers. So this is also ruled out. Obviously, the last option will be correct. B, E, F, G. B and E are acquaintances. F and G are also acquaintances. Right? Next, who is the acquaintance of C? C's acquaintance is going to be F. So we get F. How many people are either a friend or a friend of a friend of E? So if you look at E, E has got 3 friends, which are A, D, and F. Right? So question asked is how many people are either a friend? So we have got 3 friends or a friend of friend. Now A has got a friend who is back to D. D has a friend who is A, obviously, and G. So we do not get any new friend of friend. If we look at F, F is friends with Uh, so we are at D is there, and we have got D is friends with G. If you look at F, F is friends with G, and F is friends with C. So we can see that E is friends with, oh, sorry, why am I looking at acquaintances? We need friends and friends of friends. So E is friends with ADF, A is friends with only E, D is friends with E and B. And if you look at F, F is friends with E. So basically, there are only 4 people who are either friends of E or friends of E, right? So the answer is going to be 4. So you can see that this is an interesting set. And while filling the table, you have to be very careful. The moment you write A corresponding to B, you have to quickly go back and write B corresponding to A. Because if you miss out on those, there are so many things to take care of. You will most likely forget that which letter did I just put and which one am I supposed to put. I have a pen and I have a screen where I can use different colors to keep track of these, and I can erase as per my whim. You, on the other hand, in the exam or while writing the mocks, you can't do that. You use pen and a notebook. So be very careful while solving this set. Make sure right after this session, you go back to this beginning of this session, look at the question, look at the set, try to solve it once again. Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. Until next session, take care.